history and where you come from. Well, Dr. Rebecca Dinsdale from Pincher is a life coach and she's an author who found the most incredible inspiration from her own family tree. And that started really close to home with her grandmother, Ivy. Now, not only did Ivy provide her with a role model to follow, but she also positively affected the lives of thousands of people right across the globe. Now, Rebecca has written 2 self-help books, and it seems Ivy gave her some of the positive traits, really, that have helped her help other people. So we've had a long chat, and she sounds fantastic. I started asking Rebecca if she'd always planned on being a life coach and following a career path like this along the way.
Thank you. That's a lovely question. Yes, I have written 2 books about courage and joy. They were really a byproduct of the experiences of the life that I've had. I didn't really have a plan. I had come from a family where everybody looked to contribute, and I would try to emulate those lovely values. But I have had a very unusual life because I was fit and well till I was 17. But I then got glandular fever, and overnight my physical health was ruined, and I ended up with the next 20 years with 12 to 40 weeks a year in bed, housebound or hospital with severe ME.
Oh my
gosh. So that wasn't in the plan.
That's not part of the plan.
It wasn't good.
So at 17, you know, you're just finishing school, knocking about with your friends, you know, life is planning holidays away with the girls, you know, what you're going to do for a career, all of that. And then I suppose when you first fell ill, I presume you thought, right, well, I'll get better in a couple of weeks and things will change. But obviously this has gone on and on and on.
Oh, exactly. I mean, you've said that absolutely perfectly, because I thought, well, you know, I've got a bit of a bug, I'll be all right, a few days off school, you know, I'll push through, I'll exercise, I'll try and get well, all the things that we think, you know, as diligent people. And I was just completely flawed and ruined, and it was so bewildering, but I couldn't get better, I couldn't get myself better, there was nobody, nothing to help, it was just rest a bit. Well, you know, after 3 weeks I was getting worse, after 5 weeks I was much worse, so it was very disconcerting and very difficult when you're so young and so ill. So what ended up happening was I missed a lot of school, and I went back to school to do 2 hours of 1 A-level a week for 3 months, went to school in a taxi, and then just was totally ruined the rest of the time. And I ended up doing 1 A-level at a time. I then went back to school to do the other 2, managed 3 weeks, got worse again, so then did the second A-level on my own in the house, on, you know, an hour a day or something. So it was very, very difficult, and especially being so unwell, having been so fit.
Mentally, you must have been exhausted, and all your friends are going out and having a great time, and those friendships, how did you manage, or did you manage to keep those friendships together?
I was very fortunate. I had very loving parents, I had a lovely church, I had wonderful friends, and their loyalty and constancy was amazing. And I mean, I often chuckle now because this was before the internet. It was before mobile phones were very popular. So they used to send me lovely cards and letters and videos. Remember huge videos that used to go into machines? You know, this was the stone age of tech. But I was very, very well supported. And to only be able to manage a shower during the day with raging glandular fever, a very, very intolerant body to light, heat, food, frequently very sick, big allergic reactions, and an overwhelming exhaustion that is beyond anything you can describe. It's like somebody's drugged you. And from being you could practically party all the time, run up a mountain, sing all day, to that level of functioning was devastating.
Gosh.
I was fortunate that I, thank God, not had depression, but the fortitude it required and the level of care I had was very difficult to describe now. And that didn't just last for a couple of years. That has been protracted for many, many years, as it is with many with severe ME. And what that meant was, you know, a life-changing day when you're 17. Many people have great catastrophes in life, but out of that, there had to be some loving purpose. I couldn't leave it there, all that suffering and restriction and difficulty. So from that came the books, and I worked for 10 years, the last 10 years, as a self-employed celebrant. So I took funeral services for people because I had to use all of that experience to some good purpose, really to help people on their hardest days. But when the pandemic hit, I had to shield again, which was, again, devastating because it took me till I was 36 to get to work. And then I thought, well, what can I do with that which I have, which is still, my health has improved significantly, but I'm restricted. So I thought that it's time for books, it's time for Ivy, and I now have one-to-one coaching and counselling clients to try and put all of that care into them.
Well, we're going to talk about your novel in just a moment, but the most recent, your Lifejoy Year, that was the book that was written in lockdown, and that's not like a novel. Tell me how that book works for people.
Oh, well, I love the word life and I love joy, and I thought when I sat down and in 1 week I'd seen an immunologist and a cardiologist. I was 35, they both told me I wouldn't get well enough to work. And after my A-levels, I did a part-time degree on 1/6 time at Sunderland. They were so kind to me and so patient, and I managed to get that up to 1/3 time and 2/3 time. And then they very kindly offered me a master's degree and a doctorate. So I've had a long student life with all of this illness going on, but I did have something at the end of it. And what I could manage to do was write short pieces that would help people, and I generally noticed that this was happening, and I was doing talks. So the Lifejoy Yearbook was a reading, a thought for the day, for every day of the year. It started as I wrote blogs, and I was in a group called Mint, and I wrote a blog every day for the people who had essentially lost their businesses through the pandemic, to just cheer and uplift them. I thought I would write 100, and then my husband said very joyously, "Oh, just do one for every day of the year," which is very easy to say. It's much more difficult to do, but thankfully I managed to do it. So there are 365 readings, plus a couple of spares, and each month has a thought and a theme. So, for example, January is love, February is courage, then integrity, action, reliability, thoughtfulness, joy, grace, wisdom, humility, peace, and hope. And obviously through November and December, there's a lot about preparing and coping with Christmas, especially if you've got big challenges in life.
We'll have more with Dr. Rebecca Dinsdale after the headlines when we get chatting about her book. It's called Inspiring Ivy, about a grandmother, a remarkable woman who gave some of the positive traits that have helped her to help other people. So it's just a fascinating family story, and that's what I'd like from you today. I want your famous family stories, you know, the ones that are passed down through